You know, my Yamaha was great today, and hopefully I'll be again at the main event.
Good luck in the main, David.
Thanks, Dave.
Ricky Carmichael wants to be the champion this year. He wants to take the title away from McGrath. He's also out to beat Villeman and McGrath's times. Heat number 2 coming up next from Minneapolis.
Welcome to Loudon Motorsports.
Everyone knows Loudon Motorsports is the place to go for the Honda motorcycle, scooter, or ATV of your dreams.
Motorcycles are very hot right now. I think people have disposable income and they're spending money on toys where they were sort of afraid to a couple of years ago. So I think we're here at the right time.
We feature all Hondas from the 6-cylinder Valkyrie to Honda's tough ATV, the Foreman 450. Our certified mechanics will keep your machine in top condition. Plus, Loudon Motorsports provides everything for all your motorcycling needs. Visit Loudon Motorsports.
Breaking news tonight in Leesburg, a penny can go a long way.
Thanks, Sarah. In a stunning announcement today, Jerry's Chevrolet Oldsmobile said they will continue their 1 cent over the invoice sale due to popular demand. And right now, receive factory rebates up to $3,000 and interest rates as low as 0.9. Plus, receive a free 5-year or 60,000-mile General Motors protection plan on any new Oldsmobile. Ask to see the factory invoice total. Visit Jerry's Chevrolet Oldsmobile on Fort Evans Road in Leesburg.
Jimmy's eyes opened wide with excitement. "Look," Jimmy said as he pointed at the Yaromir's stick. "It's not the magic stick, and you scored 6 goals. The wizard's curse has been lifted." That meant that the magic had been inside Yaromir all the time.
Sabres, Penguins, Tuesday at 7:30 on ESPN2.
The 32nd board is up here at Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Metrodome for our second qualifying heat of the 250s. Ricky Carmichael, Kevin Windham, Ezra Lusk, Tim Ferry, Sebastian Tortelli, Michael Byrne, Kyle Lewis, Casey Johnson. We got some big names in the second heat. There he is, right next to the doghouse. Ricky Carmichael, number 4. Next to Ezra Lusk. They're off and running. Don't stop the train. We've got a battle for first. Carmichael breaks on Windham and Ferry. Ricky Carmichael out in front. Ferry in second. Windham battling him there. Michael Byrne also gets into the play. Here comes Windham. He wants to challenge Carmichael.
He's going to need a lot if Carmichael keeps going through corners the way he just did that one. He just blew all the tough blocks off the top of that berm.
With the roost.
And he had to fight for that hole shot. He went right through everyone. He had to outbreak everyone in the corner, still hold the inside. Didn't look like he for sure had it, but he just demanded it.
There's Kevin Windham on the team Suzuki number 14. Windham has had some pretty doggone good races here and is hoping to get a breakthrough race here tonight. As Ricky Carmichael, though, pulls away from him, and he's got Tim Ferry right behind him. Now that 4-stroke works very good on this hard pack. Here comes Tim Ferry.
Now, he didn't have the good angle there on that inside, though. You can see Kevin was trying to go wide and triple that. He came up a little short. So these little mistakes, you just don't get that back against Carmichael. He's already pulled away from these guys.
Carmichael, Windham, Ferry, and Lusk, the top 4. With Pavoni, a local rider, and Byrne, the next 2 riders on the bubble.
See Ezra right there, just coming out of that corner. He's got his eyes set on these guys. Just like LaRocco in that first heat, Ezra does not want to sit back there in 4th and wonder what's going on out front with Carmichael. He needs to get up there close and see.
Ferry surviving a big crash while leading in qualifying last week in Daytona. He came back with a 5th place, equaling his best finish of the season along with Indiana and 1 at Anaheim. Ferry's on, and here comes Lusk, narrowing the gap.
While Lusk is narrowing that gap, Windham has got it together a little bit, started to pull away some.
There you see the last lap time for Ezra Lusk, who's doing a little fishtailing through those whoops. Lusk, 3 podiums in the last 4 races. He's only 3 points behind Windham for 4th in the championship points. And personal pride says he wants to move up.
He would love to move up. For Lusk to go through a season with that much talent and no victory is a terrible season. He knows he's got the speed. He knows he's got the equipment, the experience. The desire is definitely there. It's got to be frustrating to sit in second with the times that he has. Just look over there at Carmichael. chances to beat you? I don't know.
Well, he was the giant killer against McGrath through McGrath's great championship years. There was no question about that, but he had to sit out all last season with an injury. Here comes Luskin to whoops on Tim Ferry. He's going on that edge. He's on the envelope. He can't quite make the pass, and he stalls the engine.
Hey, he just made a little bobble there at the last about 4 of those whoops. He didn't get through there clean. Too close to the edge of the racetrack, had to back out of it, and that's what kind of led to him stalling the bike. So now Ferry's in the clear, but he's losing time to Wyndham. And they're all losing time to Carmichael, who's turning 52s out there pretty easily.
Well, our points leader, Ricky Carmichael, is taken away with this one with Kevin Wyndham in second place. We'll be right back.
It's time for Suzuki Fest 2001, Suzuki's main sales event. This Suzuki Fest is the biggest ever with over 20 different motorcycles and ATVs to choose from. Right now, get up to $300 in your choice of free accessories when you buy select Suzuki ATVs, dual sport, or off-road motorcycles. Choose from jackets, winches, backpacks, anything you want, plus get great financing too. Go to your participating Suzuki dealer by April 30th and come out riding.
Coming in April, the ESPN Action Sports and Music Awards, fueled by Mountain Dew. Join hosts Rebecca Romaine Stamos, LL Cool J, and Chris Klein. Plus, the first ever live TV performance by the original members of Black Sabbath. One stage, one night. The athletes of action sports and the music that fuels them. Special appearances by Tony Hawk, Gabrielle Reese, and Tom Green. Music performances by Black Sabbath, Ben Harper, De La Soul, Busta Rhymes. The ESPN Action Sports and Music Awards, fueled by Mountain Dew. April 10th on ESPN.
Release the controls.
Do 180.
Get out.
We gotta get one of those.
I told you not to let him drive.
Welcome back, and Ezra Laska's having his problems once again. He went down right after the finish line jump. It's taken a long time to restart. Let's take another look.
Oh, he's in the exact same section coming through the whoops where he was trying to get a run at Ferry. I think it gets collected with this left rider right here. He does. See right there, he had no room to get through. Clips bars. He's trying to squeeze his way through there. It's very difficult to slow down in that whoop section, so he just gambled and tried to just shoot that gap. There wasn't enough room.
And across the, of course, the local fans here in Minnesota might be cheering that move because their own James Pavoni from Blackfoot Honda has moved into a qualifying position, his best qualifier of the year. Ricky Carmichael, our leader, Wyndham, Ferry, and Pavoni, the top 4. And there's Carmichael, number 4, weeding through the lappers.
Tell you what's giving me a little inspiration in terms of thinking towards the main event for David Villeman and McGrath. I thought Ricky was going to come out here and just ruin their lap times, but he hasn't been able to do it. As a matter of fact, he only went a couple of tenths faster than what Jeremy turned. Still not as fast as Villeman did, a 51.9. So Ricky looks good out front, and it's not like he's dominant the way he has been the last 4 or 5 weeks.
And he really hasn't been pushed either on a very treacherous track.
That doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, this guy doesn't...
He doesn't think about it, does he?
He just wants to go back to the pits and see that he was 2 or 3 seconds faster than these guys, whether he had a big lead or not, just to ruin their hopes.
White flag is out as the second place rider, Kevin Wyndham, comes across that finish line jump.
Ricky clearing the triple. This is before the triple that was intended to be one. They made a triple out of the other one.
Carmichael is looking for his 9th consecutive heat win in 10 races.
It looks like he's going to get that, but I don't know that it'll be the fastest one. If it is, it'll be just barely. You saw his lap time, 52.4. Still not as fast as what Villeman turned in that first heat.
How do these riders get their gate selection? Well, the fastest time and the fastest heat, it would be the winner of that heat getting the first gate selection. The winner of the second heat gets the second choice. Carmichael, the checkers. Chad Watts, his mechanic. Has to feel good anytime you put it on these riders in a qualifying heat. Let's take a look at the Suzuki results page right now. Ricky Carmichael, Kevin Windham, Tim Ferry, Sebastian Tortelli recovered, and Michael Byrne came up. Michael Byrne not making it into the top 4, though. He, along with Ezra Lusk, they are on their way to the semifinal round. Let's go down to Davey.
Well, Ricky, as far as the records go, Art tells me that that's your 9th heat race win in a row. That's an amazing way to come out firing every night.
I tell you, Davey, I've been working hard, and it feels good to win these heat races, you know, get yourself going for the main event. And I need a little bit better jump off the gate for that main event. It's going to be tough out there. There's a lot of guys going fast, but, you know, I know I can go the 20 laps, and that's what's important.
We knew coming in here it was going to be a fast race, especially from one of the Yamahas. What we didn't expect was that it would be Villeman. And by the way, you were 1 second faster than David.
David's riding excellent. And, you know, I always try to go out there and turn that fast heat race time to get that good gate position, you know, starts everything. And looking forward to David being up there in the main event as well as myself. You know, there's a lot of guys that can win, and, you know, we'll see what happens. I just want to do the best that I can do and be up close to the front as possible.
So far, it's worked out for you that way.
Yeah, it has. Things have been going good, and Chevy trucks, Kawasaki, Bridgestone tires, Oakley, Fox, you know, without the support from them, I wouldn't be here.
So add Villeman to Ricky Carmichael and McGrath, the mix of the 2 contenders.
Supercross. With moves like these, you need protection that won't quit. Speed Stick Ultimate. Powerful, long-lasting protection to keep you covered, even if there are some bumps in the road. So go for it. You've got the heavy-duty protection you need as you blaze your own trail. Speed Stick Ultimate.
We are classic car nuts.
We love these cars, and we spend hours and hours talking about them.
When this car needs tires, I take it to Walmart.
Because they really do handle it with care. I stand there right outside the bay and watch.
Everything one stop. You've got it right here.
They have name brands, and they have great prices.
I need some carburetor cleaner. I like Michelin's on this car. Personally, I'm a Goodyear man.
Brand name tires, oil changes, and more at Walmart Tire and Lube Express.
Our wives really wonder who we're married to, these cars or them.
There's no sense in working in construction unless you're comfortable.
Hey, you put these boots on in the morning, and at the end of the day, you're going to feel good enough to do a little something else for yourself.
With Wolverine DuraShocks, comfort is a guarantee.
It's a new season, and the top seeds try to fend off the best of the newcomers and each other. Anything's possible on the hard court. Coverage of the Tennis Masters Series Ericsson Open begins tomorrow at 1 on ESPN.
Our Honda flashback for this week zeroes in on last year's upset here at the Metrodome. It was the second round of the band's Triple Crown, but the chance of David Villeman winning again after taking the first round win in Phoenix were slim. The 250 rookie out of France had to beat the most dominating human on a Supercross track, in a city where the defending champ had never lost. Jeremy McGrath had won every Supercross race staged in the Metrodome. Villeman ignored the odds. He got the whole shot and led every lap, while McGrath broke the gate 9th, came out of the first turn 8th. McGrath had to pass Windham to make the podium, but for the first time, it suffered a defeat in Minneapolis. Villeman was able to keep up the fast pace without being challenged for his 3rd win of the season. It put him in line for the band's Triple Crown.
The live webcast of each and every race on ESPN.com is so popular these days, they've had to order more servers. Hope you're not missing out. Also, the chat room on Thursday nights, plus columns and stats 24 hours a day. ESPN.com. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Suzuki setup.
Here at the Metrodome, we do a little things different than we do in Daytona for outdoors and indoors. For instance, the front tire here, you use a little bit different compound tire to hook up on the harder surfaces. And then you come to the front forks here. The clickers here, we run them in a little bit so the suspension's a little stiffer, compression clickers. And then we come down to the carburetor here. For outdoors, we go to a bigger main jet. And indoors, we come back down, make it a little leaner, for a little bit crisper running. And then you come to the shock here, it's basically the same as the forks. You just stiffen up the clickers on the compression for the shock to be a little stiffer. And then you come to the rear tire here, and the knobs are cut down, make it a little bit better traction. For like Daytona, the knobs were higher where you needed more roost, and here you just need more traction.
Art Ekman, David Bailey up top, and I'll tell you that heat race put a whole new agenda in for the main event with David Villeman surprising, maybe even shocking, Jeremy McGrath.
Well, I thought maybe Jeremy was sliding a little bit. You know, the last couple of weeks he's struggled, a 4th and then a 6th. So I thought, well, you know, maybe this heat race isn't all that fast, and Villeman's just riding a little better than Jeremy. But then Carmichael comes out in that next heat and only betters it the total time by 1 second. So we're looking at a lot of guys that can run the pace tonight, and the start, like Carmichael said, could be everything.
You know, enjoying the festive atmosphere of EA Sports Supercross live at the stadium is the way to go. You get the sounds, the colors, the up-close and personal pit tours and autograph sessions. Check out, we'll be in St. Louis on the 31st. Also Pontiac on April 7th, and then Texas Stadium on April 21st. Hope you can join us. Taking a look at the highlights now from the semifinal round. Top Privateers battled it out in the first semi. Number 41, Jean-Sebastian Waugh with their helmet cam took command. But David Bailey, all of a sudden, there was a 3-abreast battle for first place.
Well, it was pretty neat that Waugh had gone around and shown us what the track looked like a little earlier on the helmet cam. Then we got to see what it looked like to be in the lead. Unfortunately for Waugh, though, he lost. He got in the 3rd place there behind Raynard Huffman, but he was still giving us those great shots of what those guys were doing out in front of him.
So Raynard, Huffman, Waugh, and DeHaan gained the transfer from our first semifinal. Now, in the second semifinal, all the eyes were on Ezra Lusk, of course, and he broke from the gate really late.
Well, he got out pretty good, but then he missed a shift, so he pretty much just had to ride behind the pack all the way to the corner, and it looked like a disastrous start. He turned into not too bad a one. He came out of the end of the whoops section and already in 4th place, and struggled a little bit trying to get in the lead around Casey Johnson. Casey actually got back past him at one point, but then Ezra started getting that whoop section nailed all the way.
So was Ezra, CJ, Byrne, Lewis, and Pavoni, the local rider, making it into the main event after outer semi number 2. But important, Ezra found a new route in those wicked whoops, and Davey talked with him right afterwards.
Ezra, I know a lot of times guys don't like to ride the semi, but I got to tell you, you might have found the key to unlock that whoop section.
I think so. I was going good through it all day long. We felt like our bike had a good setup for it. And, you know, in the heat race, I struggled a little bit trying to get around Red Dog, and felt good in the semi. You know, I got by those cowies pretty quick, but I'm a little disappointed I missed the shift right out of the gate, so I need to get that together for the main event.
You'll probably be on the outside a little bit because the first 8 gates will be picked, but on a long stretch like this, you got to feel good about the Honda.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I'm really confident in my starts right now, so I think I'll be able to pull it out.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Stay tuned for Minneapolis. The main event in the 250s is just around the corner.
When Suzuki introduced the original 4-stroke DR 350 and dual sport 350, it rocked motorcycling. Now, it's happening all over again. Introducing the all-new DRZ 400 and DRZ 400S from Suzuki. 4-stroke thunder. On road or off.
It's an all-American original, the Formula USA National Dirt Track Series. The masters of flat track racing are coming with pure Harley-Davidson power. Be there for a classic weekend of motorcycle fun. Oklahoma City, Rapid City, Portland, Seattle, Sacramento, Del Mar, San Diego. The Formula USA National Dirt Track Series. Get all the dirt now at FormulaUSA.com.
Do you suffer from low back or hip pain morning after morning? Medical experts agree a pillow between your legs could be the best solution. But what a hassle. Too big goes flat. Introducing the Contour Leg Pillow to give you relief without the hassle. Look, no leg support can put strain on the hips, knees, and pushes your lower back out of alignment. but the Contour leg pillow comfortably supports, restoring natural alignment. Relax back muscles, relieve strain on hips, knees, and joints. The curve fits your leg so it comfortably stays with you all night. Call now to get lower back, hip, and knee comfort with the Contour leg pillow. Now only $14.95, and will include the world-famous Contour pillow for head, neck, and shoulder comfort. A $20 value free. That's a $40 head-to-toe comfort value for just $14.95.
Call 1-800-717-8222 to order the leg pillow and get the Contour pillow free. 1-800-717-8222.
The time is with us now for the 250 main event. Carmichael getting into the gate right next to 934. David Villeman, who had a very fine qualifying round, and Mike LaRocco just to his right. Carmichael, Villeman, Wyndham. Boy, we got some great riders here. As you see the Suzuki starting lineup, Tim Ferry's doing well in that four-stroke. Sebastian Tortelli, one of the leading privateers, Voss. Ezra Lusk doing a fine job in the semifinal, finding a new route to success through the wicked whoops. And it's get nervous time as the 32nd board is about to go up David Bailey.
Now you got McGrath right next to the doghouse, they call it, the center of the starting gate. Then he's got LaRocco, then Carmichael. That's exactly the way they started, the same way they lined up in Daytona. You see all those skull and fox head crossbones there. That's for each win of the series for Carmichael. He's running out of room.
Number 41, Jean-Sebastien Waugh with the helmet cam on. You see him there next to Robbie Reynard. Just about set to go for round number 10.
Now what I was getting at there with those three guys lined up, Carmichael got the whole shot. LaRocco beat McGrath off the line. McGrath was back in the pack.
Who will get the SFX.com whole shot award money? $1,000. The first rider out of that first turn. The 32nd board is sideways. They're revving up the machines, and we're ready to go from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Carmichael gets another great start. And he comes out of it bar to bar with Tim Ferry, number 15, on the four-stroke Yamaha. David Villeman now in third.
Once again, Carmichael gets the whole shot. LaRocco beats McGrath off the line. McGrath is...
He's in sixth.
He just stuffed Lusk. They should come over there. He did. He got by him, so he moves up one spot.
There you see our leaders out in front going over the triple. Carmichael, Ferry, Villeman, LaRocco, and McGrath. Right now, McGrath is approaching LaRocco as we take a look out in front.
That's just not good enough to catch number 4. Look at the lead he's already got. You let this kid get out in front. I don't care what kind of track it is. He is just about impossible to catch.
And look at that. Jeremy knows it. He is on the steam. Jeremy McGrath.
Whoa.
Ripping by him. Rubs plastic with Ferry.
You can see how impatient he is to get to the front. He's already gotten around LaRocco. Got around Lusk. He's going after Ferry.
He has Ferry and Villeman out in front of him.
This is panic time for Jeremy. You cannot afford to stay back here and be 1 second slower a lap for the next 2 or 3 laps. You just don't get that back against Carmichael this year.
What a psychological blow this would be for McGrath on his track. As we take it up, Ezra Lusk, number 11, fighting it out with Mike LaRocco, number 5. That's for 4th.
See all these guys, when they go over the triple there, they're in the air so long, they look over to see what's going on out front. They can see that Carmichael is stretching it out a little bit, but Villeman is staying pretty close to him. He's going with it.
Does this remind you of another time when he had trouble getting by Ferry? Ferry just good enough to take the lines away. Here comes McGrath in the whoops.
Happened a bunch of times this year. Ferry has gotten great starts on that powerful 4-stroke. McGrath looking over his shoulder going, who is still with me there?
Lusk, number 11.
Hitching a ride. You might as well hitch a ride with Jeremy because I don't think he's going to sit back there in the pack the way he did last week.
McGrath's 6th place at Daytona was the first time he's finished out of the top 5 in almost 2 years and 3 months. A 7th in the 99 season opener, and now he's trying to make room against Ferry. Oh, Ferry is giving him fits.
Well, he's doing what he has to do. He made the pass. He had to force Ferry to corner perfect right there to get him back. Here comes the whoop.
McGrath.
Villeman has gone down, so there goes second place.
Ferry into second place, McGrath up into third.
See, Carmichael just went by him. Villeman crashed so bad he went completely through the berm there, off onto the other section of the racetrack.
Let's check it out on a replay. Number 934, David Villeman. It looked like he was off to one of his best races.
Now he's approaching this left-hand corner. He's got a triple right here. He's got one more little bump to hop over. Then he gets into this left-hand berm. His foot slips off the peg. Right over the handlebars. Now he's completely in the other section of the racetrack. So when he got up, Carmichael went by the other way.
So our leader, Ricky Carmichael, right now has a 3.2-second lead on Tim Ferry.
Look at Ferry and McGrath. They're not that far behind. Ricky's not off the hook, but look at the way he gets out of that whoop section. Fast. McGrath just figured that out, Art. That's the line that Ezra Lusk was using in the semi. That's going to help him.
He still has to get by Tim Ferry. Carmichael, Ferry, McGrath, Lusk, LaRocco are order, with Wyndham after LaRocco.
The last lap, Carmichael posted a 59 or 52.9. These guys, 52.4.
Maybe McGrath can make it now. The black pass on Ferry. The crowd goes wild. McGrath has won here 6 consecutive times, losing only last year in Minneapolis to David Villeman.
Villeman's out of the picture now, but he's still got that number 4. Oh, look, Ferry coming right back. They make contact, but all that's going to do is get Jeremy fired up.
Jeremy now trying to pull away. Here's Ezra Lusk, and he's not afraid of banging plastic, that's for sure.
Got to give it up for Ferry to get in there and want it that bad to fight. Get in there and rub plastic with McGrath. Not that many guys have done that in the past.
A 4.5-second lead for Ricky Carmichael. Ezra Lusk has moved into third.
Lusk is riding an outstanding race here so far. Working his way up through traffic right with Jeremy. He's seen all of Jeremy's lines are skipped, getting ready to write something on the board for the next lap when they come by. He's already got it in mind.
David Lusk is riding like the old days when he was one of the lone challengers to Jeremy McGrath's winning ways. Looks like he's setting him up right now. Into the whoops. Lusk coming on. Bar to bar. Lusk to pass. Jeremy can't block pass him back. Lusk moves into second place. Lusk helping the cause of his good friend Ricky Carmichael, dropping McGrath back. It looks like he wants to challenge Ricky now.
That last lap by Lusk was a second faster, over a second faster than Carmichael out front. No wonder he got around Jeremy, and Ezra has the speed to catch Carmichael. If McGrath can stay with him, we may have a three-way battle for the lead down the stretch, especially when they get into the lap riders.
What a race that would be as we check out the pass once again.
Look at Ezra. He found that line in the semi, jumps 3, jumps 4 out, surprises McGrath. McGrath had the same timing, but he was to the outside. McGrath a little bit surprised right there, but now he's got to learn.
Another look.
See, they both had the same timing, but Lusk had a little bit of a head of steam there on that inside line. Easy pass. A clean pass, too. You don't see Ezra getting in there and rubbing plastic too much the way Ferry was. You do stuff like that, and you lose time to the leader.
Number 4, Carmichael, looking to continue his string of consecutive victories.
It's Don't Go Bananas from Page Time. Adelphia Page Time keeps you in touch with your family and friends with numeric pages starting at just $9.95 and service starting as low as $8.95 a month. You get an appealing 2 months of free voicemail and large local coverage areas. You'll go ape over how affordable and reliable Adelphia Page Time can be. Don't miss those important messages. Call today, 1-800-870-2220 before this offer slips away.
Introducing the starting lineup for the Natural Lawn of America team. At first base, killing unsightly weeds from Leesburg, Virginia, Darren. At second, using fewer chemicals from South Riding, Virginia, Bob. In right field, providing great results using organic-based fertilizer from Brunswick, Maryland, Tim. Put the Natural Lawn of America team to work for you. Environmentally friendly, great results. Doing the right thing has never been this easy.
Behind every great sports event, there's an even better story.
We were part of history.
Now, ESPN Classic puts you in the game with the new documentary series, Game of the Week. Tomorrow, Duke versus Kentucky. Was it one of the greatest games ever played? Was this one of the greatest shots ever made? Game of the Week, tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Presented by Subaru, only on ESPN Classic. For the inside story on the greatest games in history, call 1-800-CLASSIC.
Welcome back to Minneapolis. Number 4, Ricky Carmichael. His lead has shrunk to 5.4 seconds. I mean, that's a huge lead in Supercross, but Ricky Carmichael doesn't have it made yet.
No, it's never a big enough lead until you got about a half a lap to go. He got a little squirrely a little while ago through the whoop section.
Let's take a look at it.
He's coming around to lap Lusk. There's Damon Huffman, number 20, but watch Ricky. Oh, look at that. What a save. All strength right there. There's McGrath in the corner behind him. If Ricky had gone down right there, that would have been it. That's been the story this year. So many times Ricky's getting out of shape like that, but he's got the confidence and the strength to hang on to it. And it just frustrates everyone behind him going, man, how much longer is he going to be that lucky?
Ah, the brilliance of Ricky Carmichael. Time and time again, he's shown us that he can go to the edge and over the edge and come back again.
Yeah, I was looking at it as luck the first 4 or 5 times I saw it, but now I'm starting to think that it's not luck. He's just pushing himself that hard to go that fast, and he has the confidence in his training and his strength and his endurance to hang on.
He's going by the mechanics so fast, he can't read that pit board.
He knows what it says. It says, hurry up. It's not over, and McGrath's back there.
Jeremy McGrath is down to 4.8 seconds. The lead for Carmichael as Jeremy's in second place, trying to move as smoothly as possible, but trying to pitch it up.
He's going to get the white flag.
Last lap. Carmichael is on his way to passing Mark Barnett on the AMA's all-time career win list.
It's important for Jeremy, even though if Ricky can hang on and win this, it's important for McGrath to close the gap. Let Ricky know that he's just as fast, if not a little bit faster, down the stretch of the race. You'll think about that next week. Although I don't know if that's going to bother him much with 7 races in a row under his belt.
Carmichael just moments away from victory, his 7th straight victory.
I don't even like the way he went through there the last time.
He becomes the first rider since McGrath in '96 to win at least 7 in a row. Ricky Carmichael, his 8th win of the year.
Good effort by McGrath, but not quite enough. Carmichael is just unbelievable right now. This kid is getting away with everything. He's getting the starts when he needs them. He's riding aggressive the entire race. He never lets up.
Every rider who has had a string of at least 6 consecutive wins has won the title that same year. Ricky Carmichael has 6 more races to put the capper on his very first 125 championship. I should say 250 championship. Ricky Carmichael's got to be feeling good right now. We'll return to hear his words right after this.
They dominate the world of motocross and off-road riding. But there's an even bigger reason to choose a Honda CR or XR. Because right now, you can gear up with Honda bonus bucks when you purchase a new CR or XR. Up to $500 on select models. And when you buy a new XR 100, 80, 70, or 50, you can also get no payment or interest for 3 months. And no down payment when you use your Honda card. Honda's deals to move on. The bucks start here.
Coming in April, the ESPN Action Sports and Music Awards, fueled by Mountain Dew. Join hosts Rebecca Romaine Stamos, LL Cool J, and Chris Klein. Plus, the first ever live TV performance by the original members of Black Sabbath. One stage, one night. The athletes of action sports and the music that fuels them. Special appearances by Tony Hawk, Gabrielle Reese, and Tom Green. Music performances by Black Sabbath, Ben Harper, De La Soul, Busta Rhymes. The ESPN Action Sports and Music Awards, fueled by Mountain Dew. April 10th on ESPN.
Release the controls.
Do 180.
We got to get one of those.
I told you not to let him drive.
Excuse me, I'm searching for a real man.
Perhaps he can be of assistance. He's so radical and extreme.
Surely he's not human.
Hey, Vern, isn't that the guy who stole your wife? What?
EA Sports Supercross. It's in the game.
Look, it's rated E for everyone.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school in an exciting instructional video. Baseball World's Defensive Drills video features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky and the same techniques that produced his back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Collegiate Baseball Magazine's editor calls it a masterpiece, the best drill video ever produced. This video is endorsed by top professionals like superstar Fred McGriff.
This is the instructional video that gets results.
The Defensive Drills video benefits players of all ages and ability levels and makes a great gift too, so call now.
Supercross has been brought to you by Suzuki. During Suzuki Fest 2001, get up to $400 worth of free accessories on selected models. By Speed Stick, presenting sponsor of EA Sports Supercross. And by Honda, the company that defines performance on two wheels. Performance first.
Well, there you have it, Ricky. You got yourself a place in Supercross history. You are now the rider with the second longest winning streak ever. You just passed Ricky Johnson and Bob Hurricane Hanna.
I'll tell you what, man, it feels so awesome. I tell you what, I got an awesome start, and Bridgestone tires were hooking up off of the gate tonight, and that's what it took for me. And I got out there, and David was on my tail for a while, and managed to keep my cool. And I was pulling away from those guys, and then the lappers were just horrible tonight, and you know that's the way it goes, and it feels good to break the records, but it feels way better if I can win the championship.
Well, actually, you have about 6 more races to go. Remember, Jeremy McGrath's got 13, but I got to ask you, in the middle of the race, coming down through the whoops, you almost had another one of those times when you hit a landmine and endoed.
Yeah, I almost crashed, but that's the way it goes, and you know, in my mind, I want it to be only 5 more races. I don't want to think about 7, and I'm going to try my heart out and see what happens.
Good job, Ricky.
Thanks a lot, Davey.
As this great crowd prepares to leave the Metrodome, let's take a look at the Honda scoreboard right now with Ricky Carmichael again winning. McGrath and Rocco on the podium with Kevin Windham and Tim Ferry rounding out the top 5. Very disappointed performances out of Sebastian Tortelli once again, and even more so David Villeman, who might have separated a shoulder, and a disappointing night for Ezra Lusk. Let's go down to Davey.
Jeremy, another good ride, but just didn't have the start.
Yeah, you know, I got out right. Me and LaRocco kind of got out side by side, and he got a great jump. And I kind of had to tuck into 4th going in the first corner and get a little, you know, situated there. And then Yogi got by me and kind of was stuck, you know. I made a pass on Mike, and then I passed Ezra, but I was behind Ferry, and I kind of got blocked up a little bit. He was riding his butt off, but I was trying to get around, and I just couldn't get around, so it took me a while to get situated.
Does this remind you of yourself in '96 when you seemed like you got a lot of breaks, seemed like nothing could go wrong?
Well, I got to hand it to the Yamaha guys, and especially Skip, my mechanic, you know, and Larry. We kind of been brainstorming what's going on. You know, I've been struggling a lot with arm pump, and, you know, this week we made some suspension changes. Came out, bike felt awesome, and, you know, I was really, really confident. And for the first time this year, I think I felt really good on the bike, and I was aggressive, making some passes, and, you know, I mean, I got to hand it to the Mazda Yamaha Hot Wheels team. You know, we've been struggling a little bit, but I think after tonight, we've really went to another stepping stone.
We can't wait to see you get up there with Ricky. It's got to be a matter of laps at this point. And what about the guy next to you, Mike LaRocco? Mike, same story. Got that start.
Actually, I got a better start. I was a little off pace early in the race, and I was there to see what the guys were doing, and it just took me a little bit while to get going. And you know, once I did, I started picking some people off, and you know, guys like Ezra and Villeman made mistakes, and then I found myself battling with Windham, and we started catching Jeremy again after he passed me, and I started closing in on the race like I always do. But it just took me too long to get going, but we worked this week on starts. I got a better start, and I think I'm going in the right direction.
Thanks, Mike.
LaRocco embedded in third place in points as RC now holds a 29-point lead over McGrath as the Honda scoreboard shows us Lusk's troubles drop him 7 points in back of Wyndham and Floyd. RC and crew now head to Houston, where you can tune into ESPN2 on the 31st at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific to see all the 250 action followed by the 125 show. Art Ekman thanking you for being with us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more information, log on to ESPN.com.
In the beginning, 64 teams were selected, but now just 16 remain. Today, we find out who can walk the walk as only 8 teams will continue in the survival of the fittest on their march to the arch. We're going to go back to Birmingham, and how about those Lady Raiders? Texas Tech about to take on Purdue out of the Big Ten in this Mideast regional matchup. Go on. Marcia Sharp, one of the most respected coaches in the land, led the Lady Raiders to the national championship back in 1993. And glad to have you back here on ESPN2 alongside Vera Jones and Nell Fortner. I'm Robin Roberts. So fun to watch the Lady Raiders, and really sometimes their defense really dictates